Hello guys, welcome and congratulations for reaching till here. If you are in this session, that means you have completed all the three previous parts and now you have acquired the knowledge where you can design something meaningful. So in this part of the course, we are indeed going to design something meaningful. But prior to explaining you the project, I want to show you what are the things we are going to cover in this part of the course. So let's jump into the discussion. So guys, this is the story of our journey. So before I explain you the projects part, let's look into the journey so far. When we started this course, we don't know about coding, but we have learned every aspect of the coding, where we have seen that how to start coding and programming in any of the language, where we have learned so many things which give us the confidence to proceed further and look into the basic building block of any programming language. Then afterwards, we have also seen that how we have mapped the basic building block with Python programming, and we have also understand that the programming paradigm. So we will use this concept programming paradigm of procedural programming in our first part of the project. That means project 1, where we are going to design IMDb web scraper with the help of procedural programming. We are not going to use any classes. Whatever we have learned in part 2 of the course, we will utilize those part with the help of procedural programming, where we are not going to write any classes and objects. Classes and object we will cover in project 2, where I can use the classes and all the thing which we have learned in both part 2 and part 3 of the course. So these concepts we can apply in our project. So after finishing first part, then we went to part 2, where we have learned about the basics of Python programming, and these are the topics we have covered. So we have covered the Python's overview, then we have looked into the Python programming core elements, what are the core elements of Python programming. Then we have also seen the flow control, where we have learned about if-else block, if-else ladder, and all those stuff which help us to control the behavior of execution of the program. Then we have also seen that iteration and looping concept. Then we have seen that how to convert any requirement to a program, where we have seen that following tools like functional decomposition, functional flow, data flow diagram, flow charts, data dictionary. All these tools will help us to convert the requirement with a program. So these tools are really very handy tool when it comes to convert a requirement to a program. Suppose that if any client is coming to you with a requirement, so how do you can convert to a program? So this we have also seen that functions, variable scoping, and we have seen that how to use higher order function like filter, map, reduce. All these higher order function we have seen in this part of the course. And then we have also seen the currying technique, where we have designed the curried function as well. Once we got the confidence in the part 2 of the course, then we proceed further and we have looked into the advanced topics, where we have learned about the object oriented programming concept. We have seen the Python classes, we have also seen that classes and variables method, we have seen that static methods, we learned about class inheritance, then we have also looked into overriding method, then we have seen that access modifiers. We have also seen the technique whenever any error will happen, how to handle those error with an exception object. And at last we have discussed about the Python module packages. So I will show you in the project also that how anybody has packaged their solution or packaged their project which we are going to use it. So all these things we have learned. Now we are in a position where we are going to design something meaningful. So in the part 4 of the project, we are going to do two projects basically. Project 1, we are going to design IMDb web scraper. I am going to explain about this project now. And after that, we will design a game called Snake, which will help us to write something more meaningful and in a object oriented way. So the second project will help us to understand that how to think about an object, how to create an object, how to design a class, how to instantiate the object from the design class. All these things we will use to design a game called Snake. Now let's start the discussion about the IMDb web scraper project. I hope you must be knowing about the IMDb. website which contains the information about the movies. So let's jump into the website to understand it better. We are into IMDb site. For those who don't know about IMDb site is a site which holds the information about movies. It holds information like name of the movies, when it was made, and what is the rating so far. So all these information will be available in this site. So what we are going to design, suppose that if you want to grab the information about all those movies which has highest rating and that belongs to the top rated movies, I want these lists of movies to be available to me offline so that I can use it for any of the project like data analysis or to create some app with the help of these data. So we have two ways. Either we can go manually and copy paste it, select it and copy paste into a text file. This is the first way, but this way is very much drudgery. That means you need to do so much of effort to grab all this detail manually. So what we are going to do, we are going to design a tool which will grab all this information from this site and save it to your local computer. So let's jump into the Spider editor and start writing the code to design this tool. So we are into the Spider editor. So let's start writing the code. So here, before writing the code, just understand that the flow of the project. Then only we are able to design the project or implement the project. So to do that, we are going to use the tools which we have learned in part 2 of the course, like tools to convert from requirement to program. So what we need to do, we need to understand that the functional flow. So how actually and what actually happening within the tool when we are using it. So basically we will write it. So we are going to comment it. So first step, what is happening, that we are going to the website. Once we are going there, then what is happening, that we are getting information, and once we are getting the data into tabular format, that means a mechanism by which we can extract the information. So here if you look into that, this is the top rated movies and here we are getting the data into tabular format. How do you come to know about tabular format? Either two way. You can go into the source code, view page source code, then you will find that the source code how it is being, or you can inspect the element as well. Here we will, for example, if you grab it and do inspect element, then you will find that this is a table header. So data is coming into a tabular format. So what we need to do, we need to understand it. Okay, the data is in tabular format. So the data is in tabular format. So that means we need to grab the data from tables. So this is our task to perform while designing this tool. So here the beauty of Python comes into picture. If you are going to design this tool, that means you have to design all these 4 steps by your own. But if you are doing this thing in Python, that means you are going to leverage the existing code or existing program which is already designed by somebody else and packaged it and provided you to use in your module. So we will grab some of the earlier designed packages in our program which will help us to perform some of the activities like going to the IMDb website, getting the information from table, grabbing the information from HTML table to our program memory. So let's start writing the code. To save your time, I have already written the code. What I will do, I will copy paste over here and I will explain you line by line so that it will save our time and we can achieve more knowledge in less time. You can also grab the code from your resource section of this course. I have provided the code to your resource section. You will go there and grab the project 1 imdb_scrapper.py file and open in your Spider editor. I want that after understanding all these concepts, you can write it by your own from scratch so that you will be very much comfortable of all these code and understand each line, why you are writing that line, what is the purpose of writing that line of code. So let me grab the code. So I have grabbed the code, I will paste it over here. So this is the code I have written. If you will look into that, pretty much very small program, but it is doing so much of drudgery tasks with an ease. Let's understand the program. As I told you that we are going to use the modules which is already be designed by somebody and packaged it. So there is a module called Beautiful Soap. What it do, it will grab the returned HTML, and from there it has the capability to read the elements, HTML elements from the returned HTML data. What we will do, we will try to execute line by line so that you will understand it. So this is one of the beauty of Python program, is that you can write or you can run any of the line, whichever the line you want to execute it here, which I explained you earlier. So now suppose you want to execute the first three line to load these modules into your memory. So you need to just select it and shift enter. So see here, it has loaded it. Now next you need to provide the URL. You try to execute it, then you will find that it has stored this URL. So if you print it, then you will find that it has this value. And you can also use variable explorer, where you come to know about what are the variables. Like URL, we have loaded it, so it is containing this information which I have already explained you. Now we will use response request dot get URL. So what it is doing, it is going with the help of this request object. This is again a package to grabbing the information from the URL from the website. So what it is doing, it is grabbing all the HTML which is being used to display that page. Which page? The IMDb page. So it is grabbing all this data which you are seeing over here into a variable called response. So if you print it, just select response variable, shift enter, then what it has returned, it has returned 200. 200 means it got the data. So now what it did, it has taken the text. If you run it, if you want to look into that what is the text we will got in the response object, so print this one. So you will find that all these information which is exist within the site, we have all these data into ugly format, but we want the information from this file. So what we are doing, we are using Beautiful Soap. Beautiful Soap is a package which helps us to grab the data from this ugly format file. So that's the reason we are using this module. So now what we are doing, we are creating a variable where we are using this class. So Beautiful Soap, if you look into the definition of Beautiful Soap, then you will find that Beautiful Soap, they have created an class over here, and we are creating an object of that class, and this class is taking two values, response.text and XML. These values we are passing to their constructor. And suppose you want to know the information about this class, so what you need to do, it is very simple. You come here and write help and Beautiful Soap, whichever the class you want the information, Beautiful Soap. So here you will run it, then you will get the implementation detail, how they have designed this function, and you will get the detail about all those parameters which is being used within this module. So all these detail you can get it over here. So what it is telling, that to create it, these are the argument, some of the default argument and some of the non-default. If you don't pass it, then in that scenario also it will create an object. So you can look into these documentation. So in a shorter note, I can say that, so this is an object which help us to grab ugly HTML format to a simple format. So the data is being, we are getting the data from the request object, which is again another module. If you want to know about this module, then what you need to do, you again come here and type over here request, and we'll run it. Sorry, I did a typo error. It is a requests, and if you will run it, then you will get the information about this module. So you will look into that. It has also given the example. So what it will do, it will grab the data, it will grab the information about the website or all the content of website, that particular page, into an object, and that you can grab the text of that particular response, and then we will further process it. So if you look into the steps, then you will find that over here what we are going to do, we are actually performing the first step. We are going to IMDb website, see here, with the help of this object, and then we are grabbing that object and we are getting the response. And once we are getting the response, we are grabbing the text which is in HTML format, and one by one we are using the HTML element. We are reading the HTML element with the help of these methods, and we are grabbing those details. Once we get all these details like movie link, review rating, so if you go into the website, then you will find over here that like rating, your rating. So all these detail, if you will check into that, how this detail is being arranged over here, and you can design as per the table. So once you grab all this information, then what is happening over here, that we are iterating the movies, all those movies which we grabbed, and one by one what we are doing, we are grabbing the text over here, then we are grabbing the title, and after grabbing all this information, what we are going to do over here, we are creating a dictionary. You must be remember that how we have created the dictionary in our part 2 of the course, and with that we are creating the key value pair. So we are creating a key called movie title, which we are getting from here. If you look into that, we are using into a for loop. Why we are using into a for loop? Because we have a data, we need to iterate all those movies which we have grabbed. So here if you look into that, then you will find that we have so many movies list over here. So we need to perform on each of the row, we need to perform that activity to grabbing the detail about like movie name, ratings. So all this information we need to perform into a loop. So that's the reason what is happening over here, that you will find that we have grabbed the movie name, grab the details about the movies which has the column, and then afterwards one by one we are grabbing the information from these objects. So that's the reason you are finding it into a loop. So each line is having some meaning, and then afterwards what we are doing, for each row we are creating a dictionary, and then we are appending into a list. See here, they are using a list also. See here, we have also designed a list over here. Why? Because after creation of a dictionary, to grab the information for a particular row, we will put it into a list, so that we will iterate that list to grab the meaningful information. And at the end of the program, what we are doing, we are displaying it. Once you have grabbed all this information, what you need to do, you need to print it. So this is what I am doing. Whatever the thing which is existing within this IMDb, you just print it. So now what we will do, we will execute the program and we will see that how it is working. So let's jump into the Anaconda console, and from there we will run this program. So we are into the Anaconda prompt. Now what we need to do, we need to run the program. Here Python. So first we need to find out. So here we need to write Python and grab the name. You need to remove it and run it. So see here, it has grabbed all those information from the website. See, at first it has grabbed the Swang redemption. So if you will go over here now, then you can match it. So what is the first information? The Swasang redemption. And what it has grabbed, if you will go there, then you will find that it has grabbed it. Now next step is you can either store it into Excel file, CSV file from the Python program. You can do that, or however you want to use this information. So this is what I wanted to show you in this project. I hope you have learned something. The only thing I need from you is that you have to practice it. The more you can practice, the more you can learn. You try to learn each line of the code, then only you are able to learn all this thing and you are able to write the code by your own. If you have any question, any doubt about any of the line of this code, you can drop me your question with the course name at my Twitter handle. I will definitely touch with you. Whenever I will see your message, I will respond back. That's for sure. So on this note, I am closing this session. See you in the next session where we will design the project too. Till then, bye bye.